So bear hibernation is one of the most incredible things. There are some people who don't believe that bears hibernate. They say that they do something called winter denning. But I would argue that it's sort of silly to parse the term, and they clearly are doing what all hibernating organisms, classically hibernating organisms, do, which is they shut down their metabolism and hang out in a place where they don't have to have the same demands for food. So in terms of what causes the bear to go into this state, it's the exact same set of circumstances, whether you're a bear or you're a ground squirrel or anything that undergoes torpor, like the hummingbirds you saw the other day. But what's cool about bears is that they definitely do some things that are tremendously different. So the first thing is that the bear's body temp doesn't actually drop nearly as low. So a bear's body temp, when it's during its normal active situation, so during the spring and the summer and the fall, it's usually around, say, 37 degrees C, which is similar to ours. And so this is during its active season. And when it's in its hibernating state, it only drops maybe 4 or 5 degrees. So you could imagine then we're looking at something like 33 degrees C for the hibernation. So if you compare that to hibernation, to the ground squirrels that drop down to the ambient temperature, sometimes as low as 0 degrees C, obviously it's not as extreme. And so that's why there are some who believe that they aren't true hibernators, and I would say that that's not the case. And then the other thing is that when you look at the bear's heart rate and compare that, HR for heart rate, during the active season. So during the active season, a bear is normally going to have a heart rate of around 40 to 50 beats per minute. But then during hibernation, it drops to 8 to 12 beats per minute. So this is during active season. This is during hibernation. So clearly, it does drop off tremendously in terms of cutting down its metabolism. And again, if you were to compare this to the ground squirrels that you guys were viewing in the videos prior to this screencast, a ground squirrel will have a resting heart rate of around 100 beats per minute, and then will slow to as ridiculously low as 3 beats per minute. So again, for all the world, it looks like it's a dead organism if you were to uncover a hibernating ground squirrel. The other thing that is truly remarkable about bears is that unlike the small mammals that do the hibernation where they go into this state where their bodies essentially go to the ambient temperature, don't forget that those organisms need to periodically wake themselves up. So they need to invest a huge amount of energy to wake themselves up in the middle of the winter so they can get up and pee and poop and maybe drink some water, get a quick snack or something before they put themselves back into the hibernating state. So if you take something like a ground squirrel, it'll have to wake itself up about 6 or 7 times over the course of the hibernating season, which is, remember, that's incredibly costly. It takes a lot of energy to do that. So, the trade-off between trying to keep yourself active during the winter as opposed to hibernating when you have to keep waking yourself up and using all those energy reserves that you stored up over the summer and fall, it's just, it just is a benefit to hibernate, but only just. It's not like there's a huge benefit to hibernation there. But bears are unusual because bears, once they go into their hibernation state, the bears stay under for the full 7 months. And, that's going to be variable according to how long the winter is, but it's around 7 months or so. And during this time, the bear will not get up. It will not, yes, you could go in there and poke the bear, and after 15 minutes it'll come out and run after you. But if there's nothing disturbing it, it's not going to wake up to pee, to poop, to eat, to drink, or anything like that. In fact, what's truly amazing is that the female bear will often give birth to the child while it's still in the den undergoing hibernation. So that means that the cubs are gestating in her uterus during this time, consuming all sorts of resources from the female bear. So anyway, I think bears are pretty amazing things in terms of how they do their hibernation. And don't forget, this whole hibernation thing is just about making the best of a bad situation. There's not a lot of food out there, so the best thing to do, since there's no supply, is to shut down the demand, and that's exactly what bears do. Now, the film that you're going to watch this weekend, and I hope it works for you as you view it, it shows how a bear essentially spends its entire active season eating in preparation for what it needs to do, which is to hibernate. So it seems like a strange thing, but they clearly are eating to live. If they don't eat, then build their fat stores up, they're not going to survive the hibernation period, and they'll essentially never awaken from hibernation. They use up their entire stock of energy and emerge from the hibernation state fairly emaciated and weak. So they have to immediately start chowing whenever they can. All right, let me know if the video doesn't work. I hope it does, and because I think you'll find it incredibly amusing, especially David Attenborough and how close he gets to the big bears. Bye.